Hello everyone, welcome to Pit Stops and Pace Notes. Today, me, a long-time Formula 1 fan with not much experience or previous interest in American motorsport, is going to be talking about Nascar. More specifically, my experience after watching my first two NASCAR races. Now, a week or so ago, got to the small hours of the morning, past midnight, was in bed, not sleeping, and here's a source on my phone. Oh, hey, the Talladega race, NASCAR's live. Well, never seen that before, so thought I'd give it a watch. Now, I'm normally never shown an interest in NASCAR, to be honest. Not a big fan of oval racing, although I will say that's not anything I've got against ovals. It's more out of ignorance. I've been brought up from a British motorsport perspective, watching Formula 1, WRC, British Touring Car Championship, that sort of thing. I've watched IndyCar in the past, and I do plan to watch it a bit more now that my favourite Formula 1 team, McLaren, are of course running their own team. So, this might be a bit of a gateway. But anyway, given that there's no F1 until this weekend, and back then it was a couple of weeks away. I thought let's give it a shout, see what I think about it, and ended up watching the end of the Geico 500. It was nearly finished when I was watching it, but I got to see most of the last caution, and then this weekend I saw that the next race at Pocono was on, and so I caught most of that one, and I guess I have some thoughts, so I thought I'd make a video of it. So a few things first to talk about. I guess I'll start with the things that I liked, and straight off the bat, even having only watched a little bit of it, it seems that a lot of drivers, especially at Talladega, were in contention for the win. Now I know Pocono, Harvick did a really good job, but yeah, at Talladega it seemed like they had a caution near the end, and it seemed like there was a lot of people in contention, and that's really good. Something I really like about motorsport, such as the British Touring Car Championship, where there's sort of there's 30 cars, and you can see anyone from the top sort of 12 getting a win at any given race, which is great. The British Touring Car Championship, they use very complicated championship ballast. These are reverse grid in the third race. I don't know if NASCAR has any sort of ballast or anything like that, or if it's down to the cautions. But anyway, that was cool. The ovals, I appreciate that Pocono is not technically an oval, but yeah, the oval at Talladega looked incredibly tight, and the cars looked very big. I've been seeing some Autosport International a couple of years ago. They are big, but yeah, they could overtake, and that's the main thing. And I was impressed at Pocono how quickly in the last couple of laps Damlin caught up to Harvick, even if he couldn't pass, because that's something that you wouldn't really see in something like Formula 1, even with something like DRS, unless the other guy had a huge tyre advantage. I guess I was wondering if it was due perhaps to the drafting, which is something I guess that applies more when they're in a close pack. But even so, that seems pretty unique to NASCAR. because I did see at the end of the race at Talladega, a lot of cars suddenly sort of pop out from the pack and gain a lot of speed and manage to go past 2 or 3 rows of cars, which I guess is all to do with sort of the slipstreaming and all sorts of complicated things, which I'm not a trained aerodynamicist, but it makes for great racing. The other thing I'd like to talk about is safety. I don't want to make sweeping conclusions about this, but after a little bit of research, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there hasn't been a fatality in NASCAR for at least a decade. And generally, I think maybe it has perhaps a bad reputation from other motorsport fans. That's due to the concrete walls and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone seemed fine, and I know in the shunt at Pocono, where one car was unlucky to miss the tech pro barrier. Yeah, it did need repairing, but looked pretty waterproof. And the other car just carried on, so that was great. They hit the tech pro barrier, and then obviously there was the big shunts to the last lap of Talladega, which the commentators didn't seem to be worried too much about the drivers. And there certainly wasn't too much of a discussion of penalties either. I haven't researched the post race, but heck, if there's a bit of rough and tumble out and crossing the line sideways is something that can happen, then that's great. Again, based on the old boards, it seems that the head and neck restraint that they use in the car is very big and very secure. I don't think I've seen quite anything like that in other series, so that's really good to see. So a couple of questions coming out of my sort of first foray into the world of NASCAR is the caution periods, which of course seem weird to me as someone that's viewed motorsport from a European perspective. I know they're there for specific reasons, etc., etc. Do the drivers get points, championship points, for winning the stages? Because if they do, that's great. But if they don't, then what's to stop a driver sort of just waiting, saving the tyres, and saving all their energy and powering the engine, all that sort of thing until the last part of the race, because it is a long race, and you've got that guaranteed caution. It's not like Formula One where you're hoping for a safety car to bunch the pack up. The pack is going to be bunched up, guaranteed. So yeah, maybe someone can let me know about that. So that's a question about strategy. Sort of another question I had about strategy was, why did so many drivers pit for tyres during the sort of caution right at the end at Talladega? Was it because the tyres weren't going to last because they had to go to overtime and they had no choice, or was there some reason because they ended up going right to the back of the pack? And even with the stuff I talked about earlier, the bumping and drafting, which I must say, it looks absolutely great watching it. It looks absolutely incredible just seeing someone pushing them along. I need do a bit more research on whether that's deliberate, how that helps, But yeah, they would be at the back. So were they just hoping they'd be able to overtake, or did they not have a choice? So yeah, I'll also find it slightly confusing that the cars are not in team colours. But I guess once you know what you're looking for, you can easily follow them. So yeah, that's some initial thoughts from my first foray into NASCAR. Like I said, I thought it was really interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty much up for watching anything at that point, but I was pleasantly surprised. And yeah, it was actually really, really intense, and I do have a soft spot for sort of touring car style things, so I'll definitely be tuning in again. So yeah, everyone take care. Please, do the usual thing: comment, like, subscribe, and there'll be more videos coming soon.